hey, not all emotions are valid. Some of them are extremely invalid, and you can change that. And before you come for me, you need to hear me out. I'm Dr. Sarah Hensley, specialized social psychologist, blah, blah, blah. A lot of what I talk about and teach and have spent my entire adult life learning about is emotional processing. Doesn't mean I was always good at it. I actually had to learn to practice it correctly until I got good at it, and then I saw insane results and major transformations in my relationships and in my life. It is the hallmark of secure attachment. And so I'm here to tell you how I learned that emotions are not always valid, and why saying that all emotions are valid keep people stuck in victimhood, keep people stuck in this idea that I just feel how I feel and that's okay and I can't change it, and then they're stuck in these negative emotions and they don't know how to move forward in their life, and their life just really sucks. And it drives me insane that we just over-validate everybody and everything because we're so afraid to tell people the truth that, no, listen, that is an untrue story that you're telling yourself. And it's causing a negative emotion. And if you change the story, your emotional response would follow. Now, let me give you an example. First of all, you have to understand what the construct of emotion is made up of. Psychologists have all agreed on this. You can go back to the history of psychology and look at like Dr. Singer's theory and the James Lang theory, and like you can see how this has been this gigantic argument for like hundreds of years of what is emotion, and then we developed all sorts of cool imagery and testing, psychological assessments, and now we know what it is. Emotion is the somatic sensations of the body, like a rapid heartbeat, feeling sick to your stomach, shaky hands, all that stuff, coming from the physical responses that the nervous system has set into place. Plus, there is a cognitive piece. There's a perceptual piece of what is happening to me. How am I understanding right now what's happening to me? Because, see, fear and excitement have the same feeling. They have the same feeling in the body. But how do you know if you're afraid or you're excited? You look around and say, what's happening to me? Like, am I walking into a surprise party, or is there a bear chasing me? Of course, the bear would be fear. So what if my husband walks in the door and he says something and I think it's rude, right? And his tone is crappy and it's just rude. And I could go, that's so rude. You're being a jerk. Gosh, you're a jerk. What is wrong with you? Why would you say something so rude? I didn't do anything. That's what I would have done previously as an unhealed, fearful avoidant. I would have assigned the most malicious intent possible to his actions or words. Okay, so let's talk about how my nervous system's going to handle that. I'm married to a jerk, or I could get divorced. Those are the only two options in my life. I have to say married to a jerk, or I'm going to get divorced. 911, red alert, my nervous system is going to go bonkers. I'm going to go into a fight response. I'm going to snap back at him. We're going to get into an argument. And the emotions that I experienced are going to be extremely negative. But what if I learned this amazing tool of metacognition? You can Google that term, metacognition. It's a giant umbrella term, okay? I teach metacognitive tools. What if you're able to change your perception? And when my husband said that rude comment, I went, ooh, that didn't feel good to me. I didn't like that. I want to get curious about what's going on. And I say, hey, babe, I'm just curious. You sound a little off. You sound like something's wrong. Is everything okay? And he goes, oh gosh, I've been working in this heat all day, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and I'm super overwhelmed. I'm sorry, babe. I know I'm not coming across well. Just give me a little bit of time to rinse off and cool down, and I'll be out in a minute. Okay, cool. It wasn't about me. No big deal, And then when I accept that, and he comes back around and says, hey, I realize I was a little short. I'm sorry, and I was so overheated. No big deal. The story changed. The story is not now he is a jerk. That's the fundamental attribution error. You can Google that too, okay? It's a profound psychological concept. The perception now is it's situational, right? He had a bad moment because he's in a bad situation, and that doesn't make him a jerk. That means that he's going to change, right? But our attachment wounds, especially if you're a fearful avoidant, you really will assign malicious intent immediately. You'll pick up on the cues, like small cues, and you'll assign malicious intent immediately. And it's not just a fearful avoidant problem. I mean, all attachment styles usually misassign intent. And we focus way too much on intention versus impact, but that's a whole nother story. But essentially, because I changed my perception, which is one half of the piece of emotion, I changed the whole emotion. And that's why not all emotions are valid. And so when we experience an emotion, we can challenge our own thinking around, why am I feeling this way? What is the story that I'm telling myself? And oftentimes, when we really shine the light on the truth of that story, we realize a lot of times we're telling ourselves a lot of lies, which are making us experience emotions that should never be there in the first place. But this is all part of healing attachment trauma. We are never gonna dissect every wound you got. It's not possible, okay? So if anybody's selling you the snake oil that you have to dissect every wound that you have to heal, it's not gonna happen. It's not possible. But you have to learn some basic fundamental capacity building skills, and I will teach you. Because the real flex in life is inner peace, baby. Now listen, please don't shame yourself for your emotions. That's not what I'm saying. Don't add shame to what you're experiencing. But first, look at your perception. That is the very first step. And if you want to know so much more about how to process your emotions in a healthy way, how to change your emotional experience because you're experiencing negative emotions, and how you need your brain to integrate those and process them so you can let them go, visit me at my website, thedatingdecoder.com. Click on book group.